Hello everyone, welcome to English lesson. I'm meeting you today with another interesting lesson on writing. So our lesson today is based on competence level 7.6, write simple poems and stories. So at the end of this lesson, you'll be able to write a simple story. To begin with our story, I have given you 3 pictures. Look at the picture on the left. So what is it? You can see it has 8 hands. What do you call them? They are tentacles. So what's it? Of course, it's an octopus. Now look at the second picture. Yes, it has sharp teeth. It's fierce looking. It also lives in the deep ocean or sea. You know the animal here. So what is it? It's a shark. Now finally, we have the third picture. Yes, she has an upper body of a female human and she has a tail of a fish. So what is it? It's a mermaid. Now as you can see in the picture, the octopus appears in 3 places. There we introduce the octopus, and here again we have the octopus. It has a problem there. And in the third picture as well, you can see the octopus. They are both octopus and the mermaid are happy. I've also included some arrows. Why do you think I have included these arrows? Yes, these arrows show a connection between these incidents. Right? If you take these pictures as incidents, these incidents are connected. So we call it the story map. So when we write a story, we need to have a plan. We call it the story map. So in our story map, we have the beginning and the middle part. So in the middle part of the story, we present the problem. You know, in life, things don't happen on a feather bed. We have to face some problems at certain times. So here again, the octopus also faces some problems. So we present it in the middle part of the story. Then we have the end section of the story. Now we are going to write the beginning of the story, the first paragraph. So when we write the beginning of the story, here I have given you 2 ways to start with. Remember, there's no other method to start a story. So you can start your story in many different ways. Here, this is the way I'm going to start my story. Once upon a time, there was a, or you can also say, once there lived a. Now here in the beginning of the story, I'm going to introduce our main character, that is the octopus. So I'm going to describe the octopus in detail. So here see the phrases: googly eyes, orange colored skin, and long tentacles or hands. Now it is the time for you to write the beginning of the story. Take some time and try to write the beginning of the story. Use the information given here: googly eyes, orange colored skin, long tentacles. I hope you have written the beginning of the story. We'll see what I have written. Shall we read it? Once upon a time, there was an octopus with googly eyes, orange colored skin, and long hands. Here I have highlighted the verb was there, that is in past tense. When you write a story, most of the time we use past tenses: simple past, past continuous, or past perfect. Now we have written 1 sentence in the beginning of the story. To write more, let's see what we have in the next slide. Here you are going to add more information. I have included another 2 pictures. Look at them. You can see a picture of beautiful sea or ocean, and I'm going to introduce the second character, that is mermaid. So what is the connection between the octopus and the mermaid? Yes, you can see the word they are friends. In the next activity, you are going to add this information to the beginning of the story. Now take some time and try to add the information given above to the beginning of the story. Take your time. Hope you have included those information as well. Let's see what I have written here. Once upon a time, there was an octopus with googly eyes, orange-colored skin, and long hands. He lived in the ocean with his friend, the mermaid. You can also write it in many different ways. See the second sentence I have written. His friend was a mermaid. They lived in the ocean. Hope that is clear to you. Now, so far we have completed the beginning of the story. Now, you can remember at the very beginning, I told you in our story map, we have the middle section of the story. So, we are going to develop the middle part next. Now, can you remember, in the middle part of the story, we present the problem. So, this picture shows you what the problem that the octopus faces. It's a shark attack. We are going to introduce the third character here, that is the shark. So, I can say, there was a who, you can say there was a shark, lived where? Lived in the ocean. Then we are going to present the problem. What happened? And then when there's a problem, the victim has reaction as well. So, we are going to include what reactions that the octopus had. Now, you are going to write 3 sentences to present the problem of the story. So, remember I told you at the very beginning, when you write a story, in the middle part of the story, we present the problem. So, we introduce the third character here, that is shark, and also we are going to present the problem, that is the shark attack, and then the reaction of the octopus. Now, take your time and try to write the middle part of the story. Now, let's see what I have written here. There was a shark lived in this ocean too. So, I have introduced the third character here. I have used the simple structure there was. And then in the second sentence, I present the problem. One day, the shark tried to catch the octopus for his meal. And then in the third line, I'm going to present the reaction of the octopus. The octopus was so scared or frightened. Here again, I have highlighted the verb there, that is in the past tense. So, I have used the verb was, tried, and cried. With that, let me sum up what we have written so far. So, the story so far is like this. Once upon a time, there was an octopus with googly eyes, orange-colored skin, and long hands. He lived in the ocean with his friend the mermaid. There was a shark lived in this ocean too. One day, the shark tried to catch the octopus for his meal. The octopus was so scared, so he cried for help. Why do you think I have used 2 different colors for these 2 sections? Yes, that is the beginning. I have written the beginning of the story and then the middle of the story. There we present the problem. Now we are moving on to the third part of the story, that is the end. Now look at the pictures. Now, can you remember the sentence we stopped at in the previous slide? The octopus cried for help. So when we have a problem, when we cry for help, who usually come for our help? Of course, that is our friends. Now here, who is the friend of the octopus? Yes, that is the mermaid. Now you can see the mermaid is coming for the help of the octopus. And in the next picture, you can see they are happy. So read the phrases there, save the life, live happily. Now you are going to write another 3 sentences to write the end part of the story. There you can use finally or at the end. Now take your time and write 3 sentences to complete the end of the story. Hope you have written the end part of the story. Let's see what I have written there. The mermaid heard the octopus crying for help and swam towards him. She fought with the shark and saved the life of the octopus. Finally, they both lived happily. So that is the story. Here again, I have highlighted the past tense of the verb. Hurt, swam, fought, saved, and lived. Now, this is the complete story of the octopus. We have the beginning, middle, and the end. Shall we read it? Once upon a time, there was an octopus with googly eyes, orange-colored skin, and long hands. He lived in the ocean with his friend the mermaid. There was a shark lived in this ocean too. One day, the shark tried to catch the octopus for his meal. The octopus was so scared, so he cried for help. The mermaid heard the octopus crying for help and swam towards him. She fought with the shark and saved the life of the octopus. At the end, they both lived happily. Now look at the slide. In the story, I have highlighted some words there. Can you say what word class do these words belong to? Yes, there are deep, beautiful, fierce, hurriedly, fierce, fierce again, bravely, and happily. I'm sure now you are familiar with the word classes, adjectives and adverbs. So we use adjectives and adverbs to add a color to our story. They make our story more beautiful. So here, deep ocean, the word deep, the adjective deep describes the ocean. And shark is described by the adjective fierce. So what do you mean by fierce? Fierce means ready to attack. And we have the adverbs hurriedly, bravely, and happily. How did the mermaid swim hurriedly? Then how did she fight with the shark? She fought with the shark bravely, and they lived happily. That is the end of the story 1. Now it's your activity time. Now you are going to write a story on your own. Here I'm going to help you. You can see 3 pictures on the slide. Look at the first one on the left. Yes, you can see a beautiful girl, and then a peacock and a doll. Now you know these are the characters we are going to include in our story. Now I have drawn some arrows as well. You see, there should be a connection. Now when we write a story, remember I told you at the beginning we have 3 sections. That is what we call the story map. We have the beginning, the middle, and the end. So in the middle part of the story, we present the problem. At the beginning, we introduce the characters. Shall we start now? Right. You're going to write the beginning of the story here. You're going to start one day. Now these words and phrases will help you. Glittering eyes, beautiful, brown bear, looked around, little girl, her garden. You're going to introduce the first character here, the little girl. She is beautiful, of course, and she has a brown bear. And here we have the action, she looked around. Now take your time and try to write the beginning of the story. Hope you have written the beginning of the story. Now we have come to the middle of the story. We are going to introduce the second character and the third character, the doll as well. So there's a connection, so I have shown it with an arrow. Let's read the phrases and words. Walk slowly, beautiful peacock dancing, at a glance, talking, very beautiful, pinky dolly, clapped, couldn't believe. So you might have seen the sentences say, I couldn't believe my eyes. So you can write here, at a glance, she couldn't believe her eyes. So using these phrases and words, you are going to develop the build up, the middle part of the story. Remember, in the middle part of the story, we present the problem. Now try to write the middle part of the story. Take your time and write at least 3 or 4 sentences. Hope you have completed the middle part of the story. Let's move on to the last part, that is the end of the story. You are going to write the last paragraph with the use of these words and phrases. Let's read them. Got frightened, stopped the dance, flew away, went back home, and sad. Now, who do you think got frightened and stopped the dance? Who do you think went back home sadly? Now, think and try to develop the end part of the story. Now, I hope you have completed the end part of the story. We'll see what I have written there. Shall we read the story? One day, a little girl with her glittering eyes looked around the garden. Her toy, the brown bear, too, was with her. She saw a beautiful peacock in her garden. It was dancing beautifully. It was talking with somebody too. She walked slowly to see whom it was talking to. At a glance, she couldn't believe her eyes. It was her Pinky Dolly. Her Pinky Dolly was enjoying the dance of the peacock. At once, she overjoyed and clapped her hands happily. Peacock stopped the dance and looked at the little girl. It got frightened and flew away. Little girl and Pinky Dolly were so sad and went back home. So that is the story. Little girl and Pinky Dolly were so sad and went home back. I have told you many times there's no the method to write a story. You can write a story in many different ways in your style. But if your grammar is correct, it is accepted. You can add adjectives and adverbs to make it more interesting and beautiful. Here in the story, I have used past tense of the verbs. You can see looked, was, saw, and many past tense of the verbs. Some are in simple past and some are in past continuous. Now, I want you to pay your attention to the second line of the second paragraph. It was talking with somebody too. That is past continuous. We use past continuous to talk about actions that were in progress in the past. Now, we have come to the end of our lesson. So, when we write a story, we need to have a story map. In the story map, we have the beginning, the middle, and the end. At the beginning, we introduce the characters. In the middle part of the story, we present the problem, and then we solve the problem at the end of the story. With that, we have come to the end of the lesson. Until we meet up again, goodbye.